also still the conversation here on Lagos television. And on this segment, we're looking at consumer rights, how well are consumers protected? Everyday Nigerians spend their hard-earned money on goods and services, from food and electronics to property, banking, transportation, and online purchases. But when something goes wrong, do consumers really know their rights, and more importantly, do they know where to turn to for redress? Today we're asking a very important, very important question, and I mentioned it earlier. How well are Nigerian consumers actually protected? Seated here with us is Dr. Mrs. Olubunmi Otti, Southwest Zonal Coordinator of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you to start defining, oh, what is FCCP, what do you do? We're going to start by talking about lived experiences of people. So now, when we talk about consumer rights, what exactly does an ordinary Nigerian have a right to expect when they pay for a product or service?
Thank you very much. And so, the Act, even that you are not asking what FCCPC is doing directly, but I actually have to start with the Act that established the Commission.
Okay.
And so, the Act that established the Commission is Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018.
Okay.
And so, this Act empowered the Commission to ensure competition and consumer protection in the Nigerian marketplace.
Okay.
So, and critical to this mandate is consumer rights and responsibility.
Okay.
And so the Act stipulated about 20 consumer rights, which I will have to mention.
Please do.
Few of them.
Okay.
And so one of the most important rights is the right to information in plain and understandable language.
Okay.
This is critical to the mandate. And so any business or service provider, please permit me to also say that the mandates cover all the sectors of economy, both products and services, because we are the apex consumer protection and competition agency in Nigeria. And so the first consumer right in the Act is right to information in plain and understandable language.
Which is English?
So now, I like that question. So that means business must provide information to consumer in a language that the consumer will understand, and to every category of consumer.
Okay.
And so if the consumer is deaf, there's a way you should let him know how to use it. To use the product, whether by way of graphical representation or something to tell him this is how the product is, he can see. And so it's very important. And so what are the information that you have to disclose to consumers? The product's content, the expiry dates, the price, full disclosure. The law says full disclosure. The price of the item, the usage, terms and conditions that must be clear about the product. And so these are all information that consumer needs to know. And so there's another right, again, that is very important, labeling of product. Product description. All the material components must for the product must be labeled on the product. And it must have NAFDAC if it is food, if it is edible. Must have a NAFDAC registration number. If it is for use other than food, sun sets the standard, it must have that sun marking. If you are buying electronic, any electronic that does not have sun marking is counted as substandard as far as Nigeria is concerned. And so labeling of that product must be in accordance to what the laws say. Product content? Is there any, because the nutritional value has to be there too, to inform consumer whether you have allergic to anything. You should know. If, for example, when you have a product that is made of granules and you have allergic, so you put every product content. The law say that. And so when we go and see that products are not labeled like that, it's a violation of the law. And all products must be labeled in English language. That is the official language of Nigeria.
Okay.
So if you don't label, if products are not labeled in English, it's a violation of the law.
Okay. Okay. From all you have,
so this is two rights now that I've mentioned.
But from all you have said, like these two mandates which you have mentioned, we also have an agency in Lagos which does exactly what you do, and that is LASCOPA. And I know you came in collaboration recently to talk about labeling. Is there any kind of overlapping duties or responsibilities when we're working? Yeah,
so LASCOPA has jurisdictional mandate. That's for Lagos. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, as it's mentioned, is the federal government agency that covers all the 36 states in Nigeria. And in section 104 of our act, I would like to read it for you to see. It said, notwithstanding the provision of any other law, but subject to the provision of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, in all matters relating to competition and consumer protection, the provision of this act shall override the provision of any other law.
Okay.
That is the supremacy of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Okay.
Are you clear now?
Yes, I'm clear.
And so, but the law said collaborate for the purpose of consumer protection. And so, sector regulators, we collaborate. We sign MOU. We have with NAFDA, we have with SON. LASCOPA, we just signed. In fact, we had one joint engagement recently with LASCOPA.
Which I want you to talk about.
Yes.
When you mentioned labeling.
It's labeling.
Labeling
and
was what
yes, yes. So what we saw in Nigerian market is that most supermarkets don't label their product, and most labeling are not in English language. And so, and then again, as a supermarket, there's standard for supermarket. Supermarket is supposed to be a seamless process where you go to the shelf and pick your product, and you know the price at the
stipulated there
on the shelf. And so it's not that you will now carry the product. If I have to carry the product to go to the till and started asking, why should I come to supermarket now? And so we discovered that some of the products are not the price. There's price discrepancies. And so when you pick a product from the shelf, you go to the till. If the product is 10,000 and you go to the till, they will tell you it's 12,000. And you know what the law said? The law said the consumer will pay the least amount. Oh yes, that's what the law said. The consumer will pay the least amount. So if the least amount is 10,000, that's what consumer will pay, irrespective of what you put on your shelf. So businesses need to know this because we will enforce. And so before enforcement, what we did was to have kind of advocacy, like trying to awareness for the businesses, kind of reading the Riot Act. I think I'm correct.
Yes. So it's Riot Act.
Like, okay, this is what you should do. This is what you should not do. And we give them time to clean up because we will enforce.
You know, now you have talked about on the part of the business owners or the manufacturers. Let's come to the consumers themselves. How many people are aware of these rights that are there for them? Is it available for everyone? Is there a place where it can be accessed? Or what is the FCCPC doing to ensure that Nigerians, consumers are aware of their rights? Because again, like you just said something now, that when they tell you a commodity is you see 10,000 on the counter and then you want to pay is 12,000. It has happened to me before and I paid what they asked me to pay. I didn't know that because I don't know. So how many people are aware of these rights?
And so how do we make sure that they are aware? One of the way is my presence here today.
Advocacy.
Yeah, I'm here, advocacy, publicity, to tell consumer you have rights and responsibility. And then we have a department solid in the commission that is called Consumer and Business Education Department. Their work entirely is to create awareness, and they do it every week. We have radio programs running, and then we have our flyers in different languages of Nigerian languages, and with any occasion. And the law said create awareness in every fora. In every fora. So we take advantage of every fora to speak to consumers. And so we organize program. 3 days ago or 4 days ago, we had engagement with bakeries and confectionaries. We gather them, we call them, we invite them.
So what was it with the
so to tell them how to do what they are doing in most ethical way, and expose them to implication of violation of safety.
Okay, like I said,
So
I'm going to be
we
very,
leverage
very,
on
I'm going to be
those.
very practical with my questions. There's this popular sign we see in supermarkets, and some we don't even see online purchases. And this sign goes, no refund, no exchange. That is a common thing here in Lagos, Nigeria, because it happened to me. But because I am aware, I got my money back. You know, I got my money back. I didn't even have to contact the FCCPC.
You're an informed consumer.
Because I'm an informed consumer. So this, no refund, no exchange. How lawful is that statement?
It's not lawful now. It's a prohibited transaction in the Act.
Okay.
So because if I start reading the Act for you now, it will take a lot of time. But I will just say it. It is because consumers, they don't know. And will I say it, we learn helplessness. We just like,
Adapt.
I don't want wahala. And so we are not saying, don't say that. When you write no refund, no return, it applies to when the product meets the expectation of the consumer. So when the product does not meet the expectation of the intended expectation of the consumer, communicated to the seller, I want to buy a blender. I want to blend tomato. And so I brought blender home, and it's not blending tomato, and you write no refund, no return. It will not work now. The person has to come to the FCCPC.
Because the excuse is, oh, you've taken
Yes,
it away.
yes,
You can't bring it back.
No. There's implied warranty of quality, whether express or not express. Anything you buy in Nigerian market, there's implied warranty of quality. And so whether the business express it or the business did not express it, it is expected that what I'm buying is quality, and it's a consumer right to quality products.
Okay, as I said earlier,
Go ahead.
Okay, as I said earlier, I'm an informed consumer. If I had not settled my matter before going to the agencies, it's because I know. What is the first step to take as a consumer?
So
you know, what do you do when you find that you're being wronged?
The first thing is to consult the seller. Talk to the seller.
Okay.
Take the product back to the seller and say, this is not working. I'm not satisfied. I want my money back. We also want the consumer to know that there's specific sector regulators.
Okay.
And so if you buy drug, it's not working, talk to the pharmacy, and then maybe you buy fake, you know that it's fake. Even if it is not labeled in English, go. It's wrong labeling, go. Is it expired? So when you discover there's a problem with the product, I'm using drug because it's seamless to do that. So you go back to the pharmacy and said, this is not working. This is not what I want. The pharmacy will tell you no refund, no return. You have opened it now, and whatever. And first thing is that the consumer must obtain receipts. It's very important. It's a right to obtain receipts of products that you buy. And so you can escalate to NAFDAC. And so if you follow all those routes and it's not working, so you come to the Apex, which is FCCPC. And it's simple. Just log into our portal, complaints.fccpc.gov.ng. You get your case number, and we begin to follow up for you, and you get your redress.
So what is the duration? How long does it normally take
Yeah, so
to get your redress?
legal time is 60 days.
Okay.
From the turnaround time, from the time you input into the portal to the time you get supposed to be 60 days.
60
But you know,
days.
there are some, it depends on the nature of cases, because there are some cases that may require variety of investigation.
Okay.
And it may require a lot of components.
Mm.
It may even require us going to the place to check, to see. So a lot of dimension to it, but 60 days requirement for turnaround time.
All right, with the growth of online shopping and digital payments now, because again, not everyone has a physical store where they, sell their goods or their services, what are some of the latest consumer challenges that has come up?
Consumer don't check what they buy.
But they can't check if
Yeah,
they don't, if they don't see
consumer just buy online without knowing the vendor. You don't know the vendor. Buy from a reputable vendor. There's no two way about
Well,
it.
how does a consumer know a reputable
They
vendor
are reputable vendors
when there's something called first timer?
and so then you do payments on delivery.
Well, some of them don't.
Okay.
accept.
Then you don't buy.
Then you don't buy. Okay.
Yes. If you don't do payments on delivery, and for any online vendor that will say no payment on I just bought one product recently. They deliver to me and I pay when they deliver. And one of the way you will see, you identify that this online vendor is a responsible vendor is that he accepts payment on delivery.
Okay, one of our viewers
So it
is
now
asking.
depends on how you want to tidy it up with the seller. But if you are not comfortable with the online vendor, do payments on delivery. Check reviews. If you have 10 good reviews and you have one bad review among the 10, please be sensitive to that one. Yes, of course.
Just one.
So don't say, no. So
Okay. I have a question from a viewer. Are consumers free or protected when they go online to make videos of complaints about products?
yeah, so actually, it is ethical to come to the commission.
Okay.
Because most time, cases are not the way you see it.
Okay.
By the time we open it up, you discover that the cases are not the way it is said it is. So because of that, and honestly, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection is to ensure that business thrive and consumer is satisfied. We are not to destroy business. Our mandate protects the business and also protects consumers. And so one of the ways that we do that is to tell consumer, when you have issue with businesses, come to us. Let's see. Let's open the table. So, and it is not that I'm saying you don't have right to communication, or you can do whatever you free. What do you call it? Freedom of speech or freedom of expression. No, but when it comes to things like this, you have regulators. You have specific sector regulators. You have IPEX sector regulator and IPEX regulators, and then you come to them, and that's why we are here to tell consumer, you don't need to just go start dragging. Just come to the commission, and we'll find a way of getting redress for you, and if there's any need for compensation or something, and the business too will be liable if we found violating the provision of the law.
So in cases where, because I remember there was a case with one particular brand of tomato paste and all. So in cases where someone makes a complaint and then investigations are carried out and the manufacturer is not liable, how does the commission handle it?
Come again?
In cases where a complaint is made, so maybe I complain about a product or a service, and then the commission decides to investigate, and then from the investigation you find out that the manufacturer or the seller is not even guilty, and maybe the problem is from the consumer. How do you handle such cases? So
we come to, our mediation table is actually for win-win. So we find a way to get win-win for the two, for two, and it's whatever it is, it will really it will reveal some things that the business still need to do to self-regulate in some instances. So it will be a feedback to the business is say, okay, how is my feedback mechanisms? Is consumer be able to reach me directly? Is it, how easy is it for me, for the business, for the consumer to reach me as a business? And the commission, we always encourage the business to have seamless redress mechanism in-house for them. Your phone number, how, because before consumer will just come and say he wants to start making noise. Maybe he must have tried. We have some cases that consumer had called. When I was in Ibadan, the consumer said he has called them like 3 times. They keep refusing his call, and that was why he did what he did. Do you get? So it will reveal some improvement that needs to be done, and so we handle it from there.
So that means some consumers try to be mischievous and just call out products for no reason.
And so the consumer will be sanctioned too now. Okay. Yeah, we are not meant to destroy business. We are meant to ensure that business thrive. But if you come mischievously, of course, you have repercussion for that. You know.
Okay, let's talk about real estate, landed property. I know there was a case you were involved with. That's the P1 Max case. I'd like you to talk about it briefly, because a lot of people are buying landed property now. I'd like you to talk about it briefly and what Nigerians should learn from that experience.
Honestly, what I would tell Nigeria around all these scenarios around real estate is that don't pay for property that you have not seen. If you have not seen the property, don't pay.
Even the ones you see.
So, and when even you want to pay, you have responsibility to do due diligence. Okay. You know, there's consumer responsibility too in all this. Consumer has to exhaust all his responsibility before he now starts even exerting his right. And so what is one of the responsibility of the consumer is be aware. Then there's another one, beware.
Be aware and beware. They are 2 different things.
So when we say be aware, the law says gather every information about that product and services before you pay for them. Okay. Gather. Okay. So I don't know how you want to gather. If you are buying a real estate, you have to go to the people that are the government agency that they have authority on those lands and verify documents. Verify document. Don't be in a hurry. Most times, Nigerian consumers are in a hurry. They just want to buy. And then, from all the things that we saw that most people that are not really residing in Nigeria, all these diaspora people, they are most vulnerable for this. Because they are not here. And they wanted to really do, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to make sure. And they know, those people know that they are not, they won't have time to do all those things. Due diligence. So if you are in diaspora, you want to buy in Nigeria, get somebody that you rely on that can help you do those checks. And then do your check. Check from government, check from community, check, get the ballet. Abi, what do you call them? Just check. If it will take you 6 months to check, just check. It's very important because due diligence is required of every consumer. Due diligence is required. Even that you have right. Even that FCCPC is here. They call us consumer centric anyway. So, so even that we are here, you are required to do due diligence. So when you buy product on the road, you buy phone on the road.
How would you even buy a phone on the road?
You buy fufu.
She said you buy fufu.
And so you now say FCCPC is here. Can you imagine? Where is the address of the vendor now? Tomorrow you go there, you
don't have to be careless yourself as a consumer.
This is what we are saying. So honestly, is when we are talking of consumer protection, is actually the responsibility of everybody in the ecosystem. And who are the people in the ecosystem? We have the FCCPC, we have specific sector regulators, we have the media, LTV is involved, We are
Everybody.
everybody.
All hands must be on deck.
We have the consumer. We have the consumer. Everybody is involved. Consumer, do your due diligence, ask questions, gather information about the product and services. Beware. Be careful. Be careful. When you are going online, check what you are buying. Reputable vendors, we have reputable vendors. There are vendors that are reputable that we know that they are just call away for FCCPC and your case will be resolved. And so when you see somebody just shine his product on Instagram, you don't know the person. Some of them don't see. They will give you, several times we will see people buy online on Instagram and other this thing. They will bring the address and we will go check the address. Address is not existing.
Okay, just before we go, you know, consumers need to know the most important rights. I'd like you to tell us what their most important rights are. Okay.
Information.
You mentioned information earlier.
Product labeling.
Okay.
Return and refund. You have the right.
Yes.
It's a prohibited transaction. Implied warranty, guarantee of quality. So don't say, Shebi, you saw it before you buy. You know, that's how some people. Shebi, you saw it before. Excuse me, I saw it, but it must be quality. It must meet the intended purpose. And there's also another, you have the right to cancel reservation or booking. So if you have some reservation or booking, and then you are no longer interested, within reasonable time.
Sorry, I know we are running out of time, but we've been talking about products. How about services? Because services they're intangible. So how do you now assess when, so you render a service and I say I'm not satisfied and the issue is brought to you, how do you measure what satisfaction really is when it has to do with that service?
Honestly, consumer knows how the satisfaction that he wants from every services. And it must be communicated to the seller that this is what I want in this. And if I'm not getting that service, whatever service, you are not getting. Schools, there are complaints on schools that come to us. There are airline complaints that comes to us. I pay, I do not fly. Give me my money back.
That is another conversation on its own, especially the aviation sector, where people want to travel, pay for tickets, and sometimes these flights are after delaying and rescheduling and eventually cancel.
You have the right to collect your money back. If they don't give you, you come to us. And there's another right I want to say.
We come to you where?
Okay. Complaints.fccpc.gov.ng. Complaints.fcc. That's just all. It's okay. Complaint.fccpc.gov.ng. And there's another right that I wanted to mention. Very important. Disclosure of recondition or second-hand goods. And so if this is second-hand, you now tell me it's new.
It's new.
So if you are selling a second-hand product, disclose to the consumer that this is second-hand. You know, second-hand is different from recondition. Second-hand is somebody has used it. Recondition is some component has been changed. All these things you must disclose to consumers. Is this right?
All right, insightful conversation we've had today. Time will not permit us to go on, but again, from our conversation, consumer protection is not just leaving it to the doorsteps of the FCCPC. Consumers also have their own responsibility. Exhaust the responsibility options that you have first. Thank you so much, Dr. Olubunmi Otti. Okay, thank you, Southwest Coordinator, FCCPC, for sharing insights on consumer rights and how well are consumers protected in Nigeria. The conversation continues. Stay with us.